In this tutorial for Team Yankee, I'm going to discuss the rule about mistaken target. So what is mistaken target? Well, let's just set up a little scenario. So here's some infantry, and they get shot at by some Abrams. Abrams machine gunning them, and they score a couple of hits. So the Abrams get to allocate the hits out, and they go, well, we're going to put it on this one because it's got the best anti-tank weapon. These guys, nah, yeah, we'll throw it there. And the Soviet player's going, well, that's a rotten deal. You're just going to throw them on every time. So this allows the one that's been hit to kind of try to move these hits around. And how they do that is they first choose what die they want to move. So they want to move this one off of this, and they go, well, let's see if we can transfer it to this instead. They thought they were shooting at that, but they mistaken it for that one. How you do that is they just take this, and they need a 3 or higher. 3, 4, 5, or 6, and 1, we're going to pretend they rolled a 4. They can take that die, and if this had a die, they could switch it. Now, those cannot be switched again. Now we're down to this one, there's no other place to switch. But let's say there was another team here, and this one had 2 on it, this had 1. They go, oh, okay, I can't switch these two. I got it off what I wanted. I want to switch these two because I want to keep the one in front to try to assault maybe. And this one has a less chance of assault, so I want to move these 2 hits back there. They would roll, successful. Both of these dice get switched with how many ever dice is on the other one. So it would go to that. Now, you can keep doing that as long as it's part of this unit, part of this hit, until you roll a 1 or 2, or you decide to stop. If you roll a 1 or 2, that is it. You can't switch anymore. So let's go back to this situation. Rolling, and we're going to pretend like they roll a 2. This cannot get switched. Can't do any more switching. You got to keep it. But if they were successful, boom, those 2 got switched. Now they're going to try here, and rolled a 2. Those can't be switched. I'm done. So that is how it works. Now there are some rules about switching these. One of them would be, let's say, I'm going to move these guys behind this building here. And this is a situation. And they got that switch, and they go, oh, I want to switch with these guys back here. Well, it has to be a valid target. None of these guys, when they shot, could see them. So they are not a valid target. So the dice cannot be switched to them. So it has to be a target that they could have allocated dice to. If it's an artillery, you can't do it either. So if this is like an airplane artillery or a carnation or something like that, artillery, whoever gets hit, you can't allocate those dice. You can't do mistaken target on that. Another thing is, if the team that is getting hit, let's say they did some bazooka shots here, and they don't want to lose that one. They'd rather lose this one. If they're within 8 inches of their target, which was a tank, can't be switched. So here, it's within 8 inches, can't switch it. If it was a little further back, now they can try to switch. And that's on if the target is a tank team. Doesn't matter who is shooting at them. If the target is a tank team and it's within 8 inches, those tanks cannot switch to dice. Now, the tanks are shooting at the infantry. What is the distance limitation to keep them? Let's say this is what happened. Somehow they did that. Well, they'd be more like this. Go, oh, I don't want those to get destroyed because they could take these tanks out possibly. The distance is half or 4 inches. So is the infantry within 4 inches? No. So they can try to switch. If this is a situation, if they're within 4, you have to keep it the way they are. It's a little harder at distance to tell who is who with these men running around and stuff like that. It's a little easier to tell at a tank at a distance what you're shooting at. So that's the reason behind that. So those are the rules. It has to be a valid target. no artillery. What I mean by that, sorry, it has to be one you could assign a dice to. If it's a tank team and you're within 8 inches, they cannot switch. If it's anybody else within 4 inches, they cannot switch the dice around. So why would you want to switch the dice around? So let me set up a couple of situations. Just a couple, there's more, but let's just look at a couple. So we got a T-72 and a T-72, and this Abrams shot, and they're more than 8 inches away, and he goes, ha ha ha, yeah, I'm going to go in side armor. I hit you and I got in side armor. Well, this one's going, no, I'd rather you hit my front, because then I can try to get a save. So the Soviet player goes, I'm going to try to switch these two. Rolls, unsuccessful, doesn't switch. Another reason would be, what if 2 dice went on that one and only 1 on this one? He goes, oh, you know what? 5, successful, these 2 got switched, done. So it would, one of the reasons to switch it would be to get a higher armor. Get it off your side armor onto your front armor if possible, if it was a valid target and everything. So that would be one reason. Another reason would be, let's say they're this situation, and this is way back here. So this, and I'm going to try to get it. Oh, I did pretty good. So this is within 16. It took 2 hits. This one took 1. You're like, ugh, if I can switch those 2, this is going to have 1 better armor. So it might be another reason is you want this guy in the back with the higher armor to be making more of the saves than the guy that's got less armor. So Soviet player goes, I'm going to try to switch these 2 dice. Successful. 2 dice now go on to the higher armor because it's over 16 inches. And this one has what would be a worse save because it has its normal armor, just gets +1 armor. So that may be another reason why you'd want to switch. All right, so we got 2. We'll just move these guys here. Boom. And all these situations, these are beyond 8 inches. And we've got a bailed out tank here, and they assigned a hit to that one. Well, I would rather assign a hit to the bailed out tank in case it doesn't get back in. This is the one that gets destroyed, and this one's still active. So I don't have to worry about that remount check if this one gets destroyed. If it doesn't get destroyed, it's maybe just do a remount check to stay in the game. I'd rather not lose this one and then fail my remount check and not have this one be active. So I want to switch those 2. And with a 2, do not, but if successful, then this hit, instead of going on the active tank, will go on the bailed out tank. And then they're going to be making their save. And so that would possibly be a way to keep this tank active. Don't have to worry about making a roll for it. This one, if it gets destroyed, it was bailed out to begin with. So that might be another reason why you'd want to do a mistaken target. Now you got your HQ. And then you got a unit of tanks here. And the Abrams shot. And they got really good. They got 4 hits. They hit everything. So they're going to go, 2's going on your HQ, 1 here and 1 here. Well, you're like, I don't want to lose my HQ, possibly. I mean, 2 saves, ugh, especially if they're anti-tank 22. I think I want to move these to just one of the regular tanks and have my HQ only have to make 1 save. So let's do a roll. I'm just horrible at this. Let me try a different die. No! Let's try a 3rd time. No! Come on. This is, okay, there we go. So we could just switch those. So maybe it's to keep your HQ possibly a better chance to survive. Because remember, if they're shooting, they're going to go, oh, I hit 4 times. Well, I'm going to put these on your, do like this, and I'm going to put another one on your HQ. So it's a way to try to possibly save your HQ. All right, let's put a building out here, kind of some tall terrain, and behind it we got some Cobras, and they're doing their hunter-killer rule. So they're using the tall building. And in front are some tanks they're wanting to destroy, and beyond them, and I'm going to kind of get these all in a little close so we can get it on camera what's happening, but let's pretend the distance is further. And there's some AA back here. So we got AA there, and this AA's back there. All right, so And then we got some Abrams here. Well, the Abrams are worried about the AA shooting these down. These can take out the tanks. So they're going, you know what? If we take those out, they're out of the game. There's no other really AA in the game. These things are going to have free reign just to start destroying stuff. So I want these AA out of here. So these two shoot, and they hit once. So they allocated out to that one. Well, the Soviet player is going, oh, distance-wise, this one can hit them. And again, we're just pretending. This is out of range to hit them. So if this is left in, it can't even shoot the Cobras when they shoot. This is the only one I've got that can shoot those Cobras when they decide to try to destroy these tanks. So the Soviet player goes, let's see if I can do it. 3 or higher. Ah, success. Now it's going to the one that's out of range and keeps the one that is in range to be able to shoot. So maybe there's, and also maybe these are within 16 and this is out of 16, and you'd rather not get a penalty if there was one. There's not going to be, but pretend. So maybe that's the reason you'd want to move it too. So one last thing, and let me just kind of scoot these out of the way. It's kind of the situation I had before. So I'm just going to move these over here, which was with the infantry. And they're thinking about, well, the tanks have stopped up here. For some reason, the tanks gotten this close. These infantry are here. The one that's going to be the most dangerous to them is this infantry there, the small base. They had the best anti-tank. They're going, we got to take that out. So they machine gun, and they get 3 hits. So they go, 1 hit's going here, 1 hit's going there, and 1 hit's going there. They're not so worried about these. They want to take this one out. And the Soviet players going, oh, I have to move these back. Have to be beyond 4 inches. Soviet players going, no, I want to keep this because I want to move up, do an assault, try to bail them out or do something. So here we go. Failed. If successful, switch it over there. I don't want to switch anymore. I'm done. So it would be possibly you want to keep your better equipment in the unit alive because you know the opponent's going to go, that first die is going on them. The rest I don't care about. So and then the other player goes, I don't want that to be lost, so I finally did it. Boom. Put it there, keep them alive. So that's some of the reasons you'd want to do mistaken target. Even though the opponent that shot gets to allocate the hits out, you still, if you're the one that's hit, you still have a chance to move those dice around unless it's a tank and it's within 8 inches of who shot him. Anybody else, it's within 4 inches of who shot them, or it's artillery. And again, it has to be something that could have been allocated a die out of that attack. And that is mistaken target.